So, guys, check this out, right? I've put together an FPL 11 of players that are playing in the Premier League for the first time. And already, I've missed out a few people. You guys in the chat, let me know the players that I've missed out. I won't say them now. Let's see if you can spot them. But I put together a team here, and then I placed it down. I was like, that's all right, you know. That could be decent. So let's take a look at it. Here it is. So this is an entire squad. So we've got Meslier, who came in on, he might have been on loan last season for Leeds United. I was trying to be careful in terms of having too many players from promoted sides. So I've tried to spread it out a little bit here. But all of these players, I think I'm right in saying that, this is their first season, proper season in the Premier League. Maybe Ben White aside, maybe I'm missing something there, but I'm pretty sure. So, Meslier in goal for Leeds United. Leeds United had, I think, 22 clean sheets last season. And it's kind of up for debate if it's going to be Casillas as the goalkeeper or Meslier. I think Leeds fans generally think, and I think we've got someone in the chat, FJC, I know you're a Leeds fan, mate. Let me know who's going to be your goalkeeper this year. But if they do hit the ground running, and with that new style of football, without all the fans there, I think they'll be really strong away from home against teams, sort of stronger than they would have been otherwise. But he could be the starting goalkeeper for Leeds. 4.5 million, which is actually probably a little bit pricey, but he did all right for them last year. I mean, it was a team that won the league, so that helps. But I think he could be a really good shout. Walton is one of the cheapest goalkeepers in the game. Last year, everyone remembers as Button and bringing him proper bench fodder. But he was at Blackburn Rovers, 47 games last season, and I think he's been away. He's been on loan for a good few seasons now, and now he's back and he's going to have a real go at Matt Ryan. I wouldn't be surprised if Potter's the kind of guy who's brave enough to give him the opportunity to do it. It is a bit of a risk, but 4 million, if something does kind of happen, he might be a good option there. But Matt Ryan, I probably think will still be the goalkeeper, but keep an eye on him. It's probably a name that a lot of people haven't seen. Into defence, Ben White, who was at Leeds last season. Loads of people have been talking about him. People were saying, he was one of the best players in the Championship last year because they'd lost. I've forgotten his name now. Is it Janssen? Yeah. Janssen went to Brentford. People thought it was going to be a real problem. It wasn't. He's a really, really good player. There's actually been some links and chat about him going to Liverpool maybe at some point. But I think he'll play for like Leeds offering 20 million. I reckon he'll definitely play if they're not going to take that money. Your guy Saliba and Arsenal in that midfield. In that Arsenal defence. 4.5 million. That is really, I didn't even concentrate on it there. But it's so cheap. And they conceded a lot less goals after Arteta came in. That was the clear focus for Arsenal and Arteta. And I think it's going to be a really, really, he could be a really good option for Arsenal, it's just such a contrast from a year ago when we weren't, we would never, you just did not go near an Arsenal player. But Saliba's going to start, I think, that first game, certainly ahead of Gabriel. He looks really, really good. And the thing I would say as well is he comes out with the ball. He's very good on the ball. He's quite aggressive. So I think he'll kind of get noticed a little bit more, which might make his price rise as well. Arsenal fans will be desperate to get him in their team as well, which might lead to a price rise as well. So he might be a good option there. And I think he might get some bonus points as well from being that more kind of, more sort of progressive centre-back. The next one, I kind of want you to talk about him, Rama, because I think you know more about him, is Salisu, 4.5 Southampton.
So I think this might be one of the best FPL picks of the season because I think Southampton will generally be better at the back. Last season, the issue they were trading between Vestergaard, Bednarak, and Stevens. And Stevens is really good on the ball, but Bednarak and especially Vestergaard are particularly weak on the ball. Salisu's really good on the ball. Like he's just come from Rio Valladolid. He knows how to bring the ball out from the back. We're going to see him flicking balls into the channels constantly. I actually think at 4.5 million, you might have one of the best picks in the game that people are not going to be looking at. I don't know what his ownership is. I guess if you scroll over it, you'll see his ownership. But he's a proper centre-back, like a proper modern-day centre-back. He's powerful. He's good on the ball. He's aggressive. And because of his addition, I think Southampton will keep more clean sheets. And obviously, you get bonus points for absolutely everything. So I think there's a chance for him to pick up 1 or 2 bonus points here and there. Bednarak got quite a few at the end of last season. So I'm backing Salisu and Saliba to be 2 amazing picks. And Ben White as well, actually, because I think he's going to play next to Dunk because of the season he had last year. So you might actually have a back 3 there that people might start with in the season.
I'll tell you what, little challenge here. I'll give you the answer at the end of this team. What is the current selection? Don't Google it, by the way. What is the current percentage of selection for Salisu at the moment? Have a guess in the chat. See if someone gets it right. I don't think anyone gets spot on. You'll be very, very surprised. We'll reveal that at the end. Thiago Silva comes in. I actually think Chelsea, I think that defence from before it's a little bit in the past just because of how dominant they're going to be going forward.
Yeah.
Look, there will be more space there, but in Thiago Silva, 5.5 million. You know, you could see him maybe getting a few goals from corners as well, being a threat in the opposition's box. But I just think to get yourself into that Chelsea defence, which again I think defences might be on top this year, and I think might be another kind of way that it all moves about, is that we'll all kind of go heavy with all these exciting attacking players. But as time goes on, I can see a lot of teams getting a lot of clean sheets this season, and Thiago Silva for Chelsea could be a really good option there. And then Jeremy, sorry mate, go on.
Sorry, people are forgetting that the seasons come so back to back that players are going to be more tired, particularly flair players, particularly explosive players. We saw at the end of last season, because of the restart, players were getting injured so frequently, and now they're literally cramming loads of fixtures together. The explosive stars of teams are going to be slower. They're going to be struggling to play 90 minutes week in, week out. People think Martial, Rashford and Greenwood, for example, are going to just tear it up. But I agree with you completely. After about 7 or 8 games, when the Nations League comes back in again and the Champions League starts to wheel back in, I think the clean sheets in that sort of time will be that is when I think the points will come at the back.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, really good point. That really, really good point. And then Jeremy Bogle is one. Again, I think people are really excited about him. I think when you take players from the Championship, especially young players, have they played lots of games? I think that's the really crucial thing for me, because I think we know now. I think people used to turn their nose up at players being able to move up, and do well in the Premier League. But Sheffield United as a team have proven that. And Bogle's been as young as he is, he's played the last 2 seasons, played 37 games last season, I think 20 odd the season before. He's going to put a lot of pressure on a defence that was brilliant last year. I think it's a difficult pick, because you've got to see who's going to be that starting fullback, and I don't think it will be him initially, just through kind of loyalty as much as anything else. But keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him, because he's a very good attacking fullback who will do well when he is playing in that Sheffield United system. So he's definitely worth keeping an eye out on. Midfield. Van der Beek, who I am confused by, I would not go near right now, not just because Man United aren't playing in this first game week, but I need to find out how Man United are going to set up. The thing with him is, do you know what I can see him doing? I can see him being the player that's in your team, and then you've got a really big game, and you go, oh, they're playing Liverpool. Oh, okay, well, I'll use someone else instead of him, and he scores in the big games. He'll score in the big games, I reckon, because you'll have a game where it kind of gets matched up, and you're going end to end, and he's got great movement, great box to box ability as well, arriving late in the box as well and scoring goals. I can see him being super frustrating for FPL managers this season. What do you think about him?
I would fully avoid him, to be honest. He doesn't score many. He scores goals, but it's like you said. He'll score 1 goal in the game that you least expect him to score in. And also the way Manchester United play, he'll be the pass before the pass, because there's Bruno, and everything is going to go to Bruno still. I think they've just bought Van der Beek to increase the volume of service that Bruno gets. And that's what Van der Beek does. He can break through the press really well. That's what I think they struggle with Matic. Matic just had to give it to Pogba. And I think they almost want to put something out there right now to say, listen, Pog, if you don't turn up, then we've got Van der Beek now. And he can do exactly what you do, and probably a little more efficiently. So I as an FPL asset, he is going to, I almost swore, he's going to piss everyone off. Still swore anyway.
That's fine.
The man next to him, though, for me, is that is the pick of the bunch.
So I mean, look, he's gorgeous for a start, but he's
beautiful,
so fit. But I'm confused by this Everton team, but I think he will be the key man. I think if you had Sigurdsson in your team, get him out. I don't think that's the end of him. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see him go to another team with the leftover time that there is. But look, he's a glamour signing. It's lovely to see him in the Premier League. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's going to probably either play through the middle in the free role, or he'll play on that right hand side. I think you almost need to play him on that right hand side, or you might almost play a 4-4-2 on a bit of a diagonal. and he'll kind of just help out with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. But yeah, I'm still slightly confused at how they're going to play, but I'm really excited to watch him. Really, really excited to watch James Rodriguez. Dianganga at 5.5 is, he's nearly in the bracket. I'm not sure he's worth it. I think
in the bracket, man. He's in the bracket. Get him out.
I think Pereira actually will do more for if you look at the assists of Pereira. I probably should put Pereira in this team, to be honest. He's 0.5 0.5 more, and I think he's had a lot more goal involvements than Dianganga did last season, and so that's probably your best way of looking at it. I think if you're going to go for one of those two, if you're going to spend that much, you might as well just spend 0.5 more and get Pereira, because I think I want to say 8 goals, 16 assists, something like that for West Brom. So he's worth having a look at. Then it's my guy Eze. Eze's got to go in there, boy. Come on, son. Do something for me here. We need those add-ons. We need that add-on money. Come on, son. So we're putting him in there. I'm thinking they're not City's slap bang in the bracket, but he could be brilliant, because they need to score more goals. They've played with 3 defensive midfielders for far too long, and now's the time to, Roy, how many seasons you got left, Roy? Go for it, son. And I think that's what you're trying to do here with Eze. He's going to play. He's going to get bonus points, mate, and I think he'll do all right. I think he might take a little bit of time to acclimatise, but I think he is going to play, obviously. And I can see him getting bonus points. I can see him getting assists. I can't see him getting that many goals, because his finishing can often be quite frustrating. But I dare to dream with Eze. I want him to do well. I'm desperate for him to do well. But yeah. And then Havertz. 8.5 million. What do we think about that price?
I think it's a really good price. I think for a lot of the play, I would have hoped he was 0.5 million cheaper, but I guess they know, because of the hype, that they're gonna definitely, they know everybody's gonna jump on him. I think he's the right price. I think he's going to go up. He's going to be exactly like Bruno. He's going to come in and take the league by storm.
Yeah.
I don't think people actually realise how good this guy is. And the only reason he's not quite in a lot of people's teams right now is because people are going, I'm not sure what he's going to be like when he comes to the Premier League. I'm just curious to see who Lampard builds his team around. He has to build it around Havertz. He is the best signing he's made. So I Havertz probably I'm going to put a prediction out there, pretty hot take actually. By game week 6, I reckon he'll be in the top 5 most owned players.
By game week 6?
Yeah, by game week 6.
I mean, that's a good take. That's a good take, mate.
Maybe not a hot take, but it's a good one.
So yeah, calm take. Then into up top, I think formation wise for all FPL managers, I think it's really difficult. I think there's most of the points are going to be in the midfield. We've seen that over the last few years, but I think they've tried to make it hard with really good value with these forward picks. And if Aguero, like we said before, if Aguero can behave himself and play and not get injured, and Pep can trust him, and if Kane can stay fit, then there's a lot of points to be had from your front players. But in terms of players fresh into the league, Werner, we've spoken about 9.5. I think is cheap. And I think that's the cheapest he will ever be in FPL. So if you don't want to enjoy him now for 9.5, then just understand that you never ever will. Not Deli, but Ali's just said in the chat there, Areola is just went to Fulham, by the way. That is true. And I tried to put him as the goalkeeper in here, and he's not on the FPL game yet.
Yeah, he's not. He's going to be 4.5 though. So
so that is an option for you. But yeah, the final two, mate, because I want to get onto your team, bud. We've got Rodrigo. I think everyone knows he doesn't score a lot of goals. He's there for the system. But 6 million. I mean, maybe. I don't think I'd bother, to be honest. But we'll see. Quite expensive as well, I thought. I'm not really sure about him. I know you quite like him, don't you? But I'm just, I haven't seen enough of him, to be fair. I wouldn't go near him.
Good footballer, bad FPL asset. There's a lot of them this season that are just priced weird, because they're just good footballers. But then I think the issue sometimes I reckon they have is they go put Bamford at 6. Oh shit! They've just signed someone for 30 million. Oh, I can't put him at 5.5. We're gonna have to put him at 6.
Take it at 6 as well. Yeah. So I think that's a difficult one. Like, if you're brave enough, go for it. Not for me though. And then speaking of brave, I think 35 million, Fabio Silva. We can talk about Mendes. We can talk about the agent situation at Wolves, I'm sure. But he's supposed to be a bit of a poacher. This guy will be famous for one reason or another, either as a giant flop or as a player that we were like, who's this guy? And then he turns out to be frightening. A lot of reports saying that he is frightening. So at 5.5 could be one of the players of the season. I don't know where you fit him in that Wolves team when you've got Jimenez in there, but certainly one to keep an eye on. 5.5 million, considering someone who's been bought for 30 odd. There's no smoke without fire. He has to be good. And if he's not good, then why on earth are Wolves spending that kind of money? But he is also one of Mendes' players. So there's your answer to that. There's your answer. Yeah, that is my Newcomers team. Players playing FPL for the very first time. Let me know what you think about that team. And I think it's a decent one. It's a decent one.